Hello and welcome to At the Red Line podcast. My name's Alec Gonzalez. I'm a life coach and a spiritual director for pastors and leaders in the local church. And I'm with Emily Funston, who also is a life coach but has other skills and work stuff. And she and I talked a couple of days ago, and I invited you on the podcast. Really excited to hear your story and talk
Yeah, I'm
about
excited.
coaching maybe and talk about your life. I always like to start at the beginning. Where were you born? Where were you raised? What was your family life? How did you grow up?
Yeah, so I was born in Sequim. It's a pretty small town in Western Washington.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was super blessed to have a really, really loving family. My parents were always there for me and raised me to love Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was a pretty ideal growing up circumstance. But inside as a kid I definitely dealt with a lot of anxiety.
Uh-huh.
And so it was this interesting conflict of, a really good life on the outside, but just mentally and emotionally I struggled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Siblings?
Yes, I have one brother.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's going to be 24 in May.
Okay. Are you close?
Yeah, we're really close. We
Okay.
we weren't before, but that's improved a lot, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And now you live in Post Falls.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm curious, and there's no reason why I'm curious, but were you on a farm? Were you in town in Squim? I know that's kind of
Oh, yeah.
can be rural, but it's also there's a little town there, and you could have
Yeah.
neighbors right next door. You could live, back in the woods.
Yeah. So we lived pretty close to town, but we were a little bit tucked away.
Mm-hmm.
We had our own land and a field
So you were a
nearby.
farm girl, really?
Yeah, sort of, kind of. I mean, it was, I don't know, much more.
Did you have chickens? That's
No,
okay.
no. Yeah, we had we had a dog and cat like one at a time.
Okay.
But yeah.
So you weren't a farmer.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Well, that's too bad.
I
I
know.
love farmers kids.
I know.
Farmers
It
kids.
sounds like a farmer's place. It
I
used
know.
to be. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, you said that you were raised in a Christian home. Tell me about sort of your journey to faith and
Mhm.
knowing God and Jesus, and how did the arc happen? And if you want to just go right into the day that it happened, or a
Yeah.
moment where it became real significant,
Hmm.
or how the arc worked for you.
Yeah. I'll give you the moment. I was in college, and I had always had, I think, an element of a relationship with God. But when I left home and started, what I knew to be life on my own, I realized for the first time that I really needed God. And that was that was just a transformational season because I had to make decisions for my own life and figure out how I was going to live versus how my parents raised me, and just kind of going along with how everyone else
Huh.
had scheduled my life.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think that was a huge growing period. And I think it was definitely, as a kid, I knew, of course, of God, and I knew an element of his character.
Huh.
But I think walking through the challenges and the uh, just requirement of independence
Yeah.
and everything in college really really forced me to find a personal relationship, and it cultivated a desire to do so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something about when you said, I knew that I needed God, sort of made me curious.
Hmm.
Because we as Christians, we always say, I don't know how people do it without God, because
Right.
we lean so much on him. But
Yeah.
what did you mean by that when you said, I knew that I needed God?
It's a good question. I think I had a pretty comfortable life growing up.
Yeah.
Even if there was a lot going on internally, my physical circumstances were pretty good. There wasn't a lot of upheaval or unexpected change or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And so I didn't really have an experience before college that quite mirrored the epiphany of, oh, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
And I have to make a lot of not just life choices, but moral choices on my own
Huh,
that were kind of being made for
cool.
me to an extent before.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So, was there a day or a time that you like, I'm all in with Jesus, or
Mm-hmm.
was that sort of a progression during your college years?
Yeah. Yeah, there was definitely a progression in college. I would say the season that really made me think, okay, I think I actually know you, God, was in YWAM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, and my discipleship training school was in Mexico, and during those 3 months, I really started to see, I think, how much more He had for
Mm-hmm.
me, and how much more there was to learn about Him that most of us just never really tap into.
Nice.
Just yeah, for so many different factors of life get in the way.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think in going on outreach in Madagascar after that, that was for sure the like it was such a challenge that I had to.
Africa, Madagascar?
Yeah,
No
yeah,
kidding.
yeah,
Oh,
uh-huh,
that's awesome.
yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to tell that story instead of the next one.
Yeah, sure.
How long were you in Madagascar?
I was there for 2 months.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How old were you?
This was not too long ago. This was about 2 years ago.
Oh, no
No, yeah.
kidding. What were
Mm-hmm.
you doing? What was the mission?
Yeah, we so it was a evangelistic outreach, but it
Okay.
was cool because we got to do a lot of different things in that realm. So, we would do worship for people. Um we would do, direct street evangelism. But yeah, I loved that there was a lot of creative outlets. We did dances, which are really important in the Malagasy culture. Malagasy is what the people there are called. Dance is very important to them. Theater as well. We incorporated both theater and dance into a lot of what we
Nice.
did, and that really we learned that really communicates spiritual messages specifically more to them, more so than just speaking about it in general.
So you did street evangelism.
Yes.
Did you get to lead someone to Jesus? Did you pray with some people to
Yeah.
accept Christ?
Yeah. I there was I don't remember a conversation where they directly received Christ,
Uh-huh.
but I definitely got to speak into a
Oh,
lot of
that's
people's
cool.
lives.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
I
great.
also went to West Africa, a place called Togo, which
Ah,
is a country in Africa, a city in Lomé.
okay, yeah.
And there was a pastor friend of mine. Well, there was a pastor there that was a friend of a friend, and stayed with him. And he said, "Would you show me how you do street evangelism?" And I'd done a bunch of it. And so we went out on the street in Togo and would just walk up to strangers. And if they talked English, I would
Yeah.
just talk. If they didn't, I'd say, "Well, just tell them this," you know. And so we prayed with bunches of people
Wow.
in a big city called Lomé, Togo, which
Wow.
I so loved it. It was so much
That
fun.
sounds
Yeah.
really cool.
Okay. Most people, of course, you're so young, but still, you talked a little bit about hardship.
Yeah.
Most people have experienced hardship, which, upon reflection, God has used for, for some good,
Yeah.
not just like horrible, terrible stuff happens and, oh, isn't that great? But
Right.
one of the things I like to give people an opportunity to do is talk about difficulty and trouble and tragedy and woe, and how God has used it to shape them, create some grit and determination, some
Mhm.
stick to itiveness, crush the enemy's,
Yeah.
fear-based stuff. Or
Yeah.
what stories would you tell of
Mhm.
how tragedy and difficulty have been used for good in your life?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was certainly difficulty. I'll start with that. I think a lot of it was just loneliness.
Yeah.
I really, really struggled to make friends growing up, particularly in middle and high school. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's where a lot of us
Middle
struggle
school,
to
it's
make
the
friends.
worst.
Oh gosh.
If you're not
Yeah.
homeschooling with your kids in middle school, you've
Right.
made a huge mistake.
Yes.
Just say it like that.
Yeah.
I told
yeah,
people we homeschooled our son, and I said, we prayed every year about homeschooling,
Yeah.
except in middle school. Like in middle school, we called it junior high school when I was a kid. In junior
Yeah.
high school, we didn't even pray. It was a fait accompli. He was going to be homeschooled. So
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's not a bad way to go. Um, yeah, it was interesting because I had I had so much. It sounds so self-important, but I had so much maturity for my age, and I was definitely an old soul. And as great as those things are, a lot of kids that age in public school don't really appreciate that. That's not what gets the accolades
I
and
never would have
the
thought of
attention.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
wife says all the time that she was an old soul.
Yeah.
And she really
Yeah.
was. Like I recognize that, but I didn't get to know her until she
Mhm.
was in high school.
Yeah.
But she talks all the time about how she was an old soul.
Yeah. Well,
And she was ready to get married early because she was like, yeah, why we waited around? I'm ready. So,
right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and so I think the combination of those things making up who I was, and also the mental health aspect that I dealt with, anxiety and depression, definitely the top two. And I think that also really distorted my view of other people and my ability to see the best in them. And as my mom would say, to see the God stamp
Yeah.
in them.
What a cool term.
Yeah, it's really cool. She comes up with cool things like that. But yeah, I think the great thing is that when I went to college, that was kind of a turning point. I saw all those years that I felt really lonely and didn't really do many great things about it. I kind of just let myself sit there. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be this person anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to actually pour into other people's lives.
Yeah.
Because I realized I was kind of just taking rather than, giving. And I knew that's
Uh-huh.
something God wanted to see in me. So, yeah, that's looking back on that is definitely that's definitely been a theme.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
Good. So one of the things I always like to talk about is how all of us have people in our lives who, like a coach or a spiritual director or a mentor, sort of poured into our lives
Yeah.
and made a big difference. And
Yeah.
most people haven't had an actual coach or an actual spiritual director because,
Right.
but I'm a
Yeah.
life coach and you're a life
Yeah.
coach and
Yeah.
we know what it's like to be coached. But in your life, have you experienced coaching or mentor or a spiritual director, someone that paid attention to you, someone that would listen, someone that would
Yeah.
care about you?
Yeah. It's funny when I was thinking about this earlier, the answer came right away. I had a youth pastor named David Piper, but we called him Piper.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was at his youth group solidly for about a couple years. But I remember, first of all, I just remember his joy for life and his love for people. And I I remember just how much he really seemed to notice something special about me and appreciated qualities that I felt like a lot of people missed.
Uh-huh.
I remember one time on a mission trip in Stockton, California, we were working with a lot of inner city poverty and it was just really tough. But I'd actually had a personal issue with someone on my team, and I was talking to him about it, and I remember feeling like a lot of people were either dismissing or unintentionally minimizing my hurt in the name of being strong for God and just doing what you have to do, that kind of thing. And I remember him telling me that sometimes the heart just hurts, and that's okay.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was such a freeing thing for me. And honestly, I think that started to kind of, because I think I'd always had a lot of self condemnation around the depth of my own emotion,
Uh-huh.
and how just I felt so much about so many things,
Uh-huh.
and I felt like it was an obstacle in the way of being the person I wanted to be.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, but he really flipped it on its head. He really seemed to appreciate how, no, those feelings are real, and God
Yeah.
put them in you for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And feelers are good. Like having people that have deep feelings,
Yeah.
that's really good. I mean, those of us
Right.
that aren't great feelers, that we're
Yeah.
just kind of bulls in china shop and we're running over people and we don't
Right.
think too much about feelings. And
Yeah.
I mean, we have them, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? We're just not as sensitive. I notice that all the time. There's people way more sensitive to feelings, than I am. And that's a gift. It's a good gift. That's
Yeah,
really cool
amen.
that you could see that. Cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, well, turning now to your what are you currently giving your time and energy to? Tell me about your business and
Yeah.
how it got started. What's the origin? And I don't know, who do you want to come alongside? Who's a perfect client?
Mhm. Yeah, so the origin of my business really goes back to my personal life experience. I've spent a lot of the last 5 years just feeling really stuck and frustrated in, where God wanted me to be, what did he want me to do with my life. But over time, I've realized that the bigger question is who does he want me to be,
Oh, nice.
right? And how is he building um, my character? And the name the in between is directly pointing to how we're all looking at the end result, always trying to get to that thing that feel like will be the ultimate gift that he can give us. But we have to learn to be in the right now,
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's the
It's funny. I always use the another analogy of it's not the destination, it's the journey.
yeah.
We always think that, oh, when I get there, it'll be awesome,
Right.
but you're never there. You're always on the journey, and the journey is awesome.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're talking about the same thing, just a different analogy. That's awesome.
Exactly. Learning to find peace in the tension
Yeah,
can be really hard.
and living in the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Presence is a
It's
huge part of it.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for someone your age. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you. I mean, I'm definitely still working on it, but
Nice.
yeah.
Okay, so you're a life coach, and you're just fresh out of the college or the system where you learned. I'm sure you spent days or weeks or months or however long. What looks like a perfect client? If you could, if you could dissect someone that you'd love to work with, talking about their struggle, pain, who they are, demographic. We talked earlier about niche and
Yeah.
niche. See, she says niche. I say niche.
Tomato.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I definitely picture young adult to working adult woman, which I guess is more where I'm at now at 27 in the working world. Other women who have gone through the same thing I have of feeling the pressure to do the big thing right now, and have a hard time just finding joy in the moment. So it could be about anything, career, relationships, family,
Yeah.
anything big or small. We all experience that stuckness and want to find a fulfilling way out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely my
Nice.
person that
I love life coaching. It's funny because I'm old enough where, I've lived my life for a long time. And 4 years ago, I came up, I discovered coaching. I was like 59 years old, and it was brilliant. It was so good. I was surprised at how good it was. I think I told you that, they gave us a list, like 20 different things that you would want, areas of life that you would want. And I picked some stupid thing like, I want to have a better relationship with my siblings, and I'm 60 years old. how do you have better relationship with your siblings, you know? And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember just coaching through the process very simply. Why is it important? You know, what's the next step? You know, what would it look like if you were successful? And what are you learning about the situation? Just the simplest
yeah,
of questions.
yeah,
And I was like, dang, this is so good. It really changed my
yeah,
life. And then the other
absolutely.
day, I asked you to help me with a stupid problem that I'm having with my dog and just not I don't know how would I say it, like not treating him, you know, like he deserves,
Sure,
as
sure.
opposed to
Yeah,
you're just such a pain in my butt, you
you're
know,
right.
and
Yeah,
sort of a grumpy old pet owner and having a different mindset. And you really helped me. It was
yeah.
really cool.
Wow, I'm
Something
glad.
so simple too. It's so
Yeah,
simple, but it was really, really helpful.
wow,
So yeah,
that's
that was really
awesome.
good. Okay. How would someone get a hold of you? What's a really good way to reach out if someone in your niche wants to get a hold of you? What would be the best way?
Yeah, so I am on Facebook and Instagram. Those are my two social media platforms. And my website is called thein-between.net.
Okay.
And you
We'll
can,
set that right here on the bottom, along with your name
yes, yes,
and a phone
perfect.
number. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. And yeah, you can email me directly through there.
Okay.
So yeah, those are the three ways that I'd love to connect.
Nice. So I have another question. It
Yeah.
wasn't on your question list, but
Okay.
it's on my question list.
Yeah.
The reality is, I love to work with pastors. I like to work with senior leaders of small churches
Yeah.
in small communities. And one of the things I've decided to do is just ask people who are on my podcast,
Yeah.
how has your pastor helped your life? Now, you talked before about your youth pastor and how he was
Yeah.
really beneficial.
Yeah.
But if you have any story of how your senior leader or senior pastor has
Sure.
been a blessing or a help to you,
Hmm.
if you're a pastor out there, I hope you're listening and being encouraged.
Hmm. Really good question. I someone that stands out to me, his name is Gabe Cleve. He is the senior pastor of Real Life Hayden.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And when I first moved here in 2020, he was the young adults pastor at the Real Life Post Falls campus.
Okay,
And I remember he really had a consideration for the individual that, someone like me who's not, I'm definitely social. Like, I really do love people, but I'm not like on the stage, getting all the attention kind of. Someone like me is easy to feel invisible in a bigger
okay,
congregation.
yeah, sure.
And he really took the time to get to know me. Like, he remembered my name almost right away. And remembering names, like, for pastors, that is huge.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
hate that. I'm
obviously it's
so
like not,
terrible
yeah.
at names. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
It came up yesterday at church or Sunday at church. Yeah, I'm terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously, it can
You're
be the
not
ball of steel.
wrong,
Yeah.
okay? You just had to bring it up.
Yeah, and I mean, caveat, am not always great with names, but I loved how he at least developed that ability
Good.
to recognize people and just stop and ask how you are, and
Yeah.
really remember that you were your own person with your own story.
Good.
Yeah, and so I really loved that, and even years later when I went to Real Life Hayden, I remember going with my family after not having been there for a while, and then he texted me later in the day, and what did he say? Something about, oh, he was like, hey, I would love, to get you connected in groups if you're interested, and I just asked me how I was, and it was clear that it was like a personal message, and
Nice.
yeah, that's a huge, huge deal for
Cool.
people. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on my podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll put some stuff out there and send you a link and give you a chance to share it. Emily Funston. My name's Alec Gonzalez at Coaching the Red Line. I love to work with pastors. If you have a pastor or you know a pastor, I'd love an introduction. If you want to send them a text saying, hey, I know a guy, that'd be great. And if you're a young person or a young woman and you're thinking, I'd love to have a coach, but I don't want to be a 63-year-old dude, maybe Emily is your person. That'd be cool. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.